Hello, everyone. Welcome to the third episode of So Here's the Thing, Decoders podcast. This is Isaiah. I'm here with
Jacob.
I'm Luke.
I'm Isaac.
Today we're going to talk about Project Hail Mary. It just came out a few weeks ago. We watched it in the last week. We're just going to dive right in, and I'm just going to ask you guys what was your gut reaction, your immediate takeaways, what you guys thought of the film, and we'll kind of go spoiler free in the introductory, and then we're going to kind of go and talk into greater length about the ending of the film and the components of the film and so on and so forth. So, Jacob, you want to start us off?
Yeah, no, I really had a fun time with this film. I had seen Phil Lord, Christopher Miller films before, like the Lego Movie, and actually, I think that's the only one I've seen. But anyway, I liked how quirky the movie was. Like that was the main thing that I took away from it. Just like, especially Gosling's character in particular, like just his little quirks and jokes that he made. It just kept everything fun and entertaining, and I was just entertained all throughout. And I also think that the visuals and the music in the movie really elevated it for me to that 4.5 rating. So
Go ahead, guys.
Okay.
I'll go last.
I also gave it a 4.5. I was between a 4 and a 4.5, but I really enjoyed it. I thought Gosling was great. I was actually impressed with Sandra Holler's performance. We can get into that later. I just thought all the characters were very well written. You know, it's a good space movie. The visuals were amazing. So was the score. So it's definitely some eye candy and some ear candy for sure. And I really enjoyed it. But what do you think, Isaac?
Yeah, no, is that true that they didn't use green screens? Because I'd heard that, and I couldn't believe it. It's like
no green
interstellar
screen,
quality
no green
space
screens,
shots.
but VFX. They use VFX.
Okay, but that's crazy. The shots. I don't know, no spoilers yet, but it was like Luke said, some real eye candy. And another thing I wasn't expecting, the music, like Jake was saying, I was watching. I'm like, okay, these are going in the instrumental playlist. I didn't know the music was going to be that good, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought there were a lot of really enjoyable aspects of this film. I was initially pretty timid. I was just kind of thinking the night before I watched it, how many space movies that have been out, like in the last dozen years, you know. And I just made a short list, like Passenger, Spaceman, Guardians of the Galaxy series, Ad Astra, Interstellar, Avengers, Gravity, Martian, Star Wars sequel series, Rogue One, Mickey 17. So there's been a lot of space movies that have come out. And for me, they've kind of been hit or miss, but I really felt like Project Hail Mary delivered as one of the upper echelon. You know, if Interstellar is your Michael Jordan of space movies, you know, in the last, since the century, you know, this to me is up there, not quite that high. I ended up giving the movie a 4. I felt like Gosling was the perfect, cast for the lead role. Like Jacob was saying earlier, the quirkiness was really great. I felt like the humor was good. It wasn't overdone. Some of it was dry humor, which was kind of refreshing. It wasn't, just like misfortune humor or, like really stupid jokes and stuff like that, which, there's a place for that. But then I feel like in this setting, it worked out really well.
Yeah, it was fun. I had a good time with it. I also found out after watching the movie that it was the author of the book Project Hail Mary, which came out in 2021, I believe, is the same author that did The Martian. And I had seen that movie with Matt Damon, a really long movie as well. But I really enjoyed that one. It was took a more serious approach and has a different story, of course. But I enjoyed that one as well.
Yeah, Andy Weir is the writer, and so it was originally a book and an adaptation, and we'll go into that a little bit more. I did a little bit of research on it, and I haven't read the book myself.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But, whenever it comes to adaptations, those can get a little wonky. I know that Luke and Caden last podcast did The Shining, and The Shining obviously was a book first, Stephen King, so there's a lot of caveats that come with that.
Yeah.
So you have anything
Zay,
to
I
say
liked what you
before we...
said, brother, about Interstellar being Michael Jordan. So I'll ask you guys, Is that y'all's #1 space movie? And where does Project Hail Mary fall? Does it fall at #2 for all three of you guys, or?
Well, talking about space movies, are we including Star Wars? Because that's kind of its own. It's a bit different
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
from
still a space.
astronaut
It's
goes
still
into
a space
space.
movie.
Because I feel like it's kind of hard to compare that because this is a whole series versus Project Hail Mary is a standalone. Uh, but Interstellar, Project Hail Mary, entertainment wise, I didn't get the theater experience for Interstellar. I got that with this, so that definitely gives it that edge. But Interstellar, uh, I gotta give it to Interstellar. But I really enjoyed both of these. This might be the Scottie Pippen.
Okay. Yeah. For
What do you
me,
think, Luke?
I would put Arrival over this. I really loved Arrival. Arrival is definitely the more intellectually challenging movie, though. That's kind of what everybody's saying. I would have to agree. A lot of people have said that Project Hail Mary is just like a crowd pleaser, and it kind of is. It kind of has the Top Gun Maverick effect, where it's kind of appealing to families, it's appealing to everybody, but it does it so well. So I would probably put this at #3. Uh, I wouldn't put any of the Star Wars movies over this. I don't think, but sorry for the detour. I just wanted to ask about that.
No, it's
That's
good.
that's a great question. What do you want? What do you got
Yeah,
to say?
well, it's kind of just what you want though. Like there's a lot of different type of space movies. Like you got like the Alien franchise, Star Wars, and then obviously, I've heard a lot of the comparisons between Interstellar and Project Hail Mary, but they're very different. So I mean, it's kind of hard to say one over the other. I will say for me personally, I enjoy like I had a lot more fun with Project Hail Mary than I did Interstellar. Interstellar is more like emotional, which you had emotional moments in Project Hail Mary, but I had a lot more fun watching Project Hail Mary. Like the
Mhm.
entertainment factor for me was just through the roof. So I'd have to, and I love Nolan, but
Mhm.
I have to give the edge to Project Hail Mary. And then favorite space movie, that's kind of, I'd probably need a bit more time on that one, but this one's up there for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it's one of the better ones. Like I said, my favorite space movie is probably Space Jam. I'm just kidding.
The second one.
Did not land with you
The
guys.
second
Hated the joke.
I thought you were serious.
Michael Jordan. No, brother. I was reintegrating Michael Jordan. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. Arrival is a really good one. I'd probably take Arrival over Project Hail Mary, but that's an interesting case of more like aliens coming to Earth rather than leaving Earth to go to outer space.
Right. Yeah,
Annihilation's
that's
kind of
true.
like that too. Quiet Place. If you want to kind of
Edge of Tomorrow.
yeah, Edge of Tomorrow. If you want to throw that into its own, then you can get to Avatar. It gets
A lot
really
of
broad.
yeah.
Yeah, it gets really broad. But yeah, I mean, as for like a space exploration movie, it's one of the better ones out there. Ones that I really enjoyed. Isaac looks like he's on the verge of dying laughing.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say something that I did like about Project Hail Mary is it kind of strayed away from the humans are destroying the earth. It kind of gets stale after so many movies where like we've destroyed our planet, we got to go find another suitable planet. We've seen that before. This was something different. Like what were the little guys called? The little
Astrophage.
black bolt.
Astrophage.
The astrophage. It was something different. Like humans weren't so much the problem. I don't know. I like that they stayed away from that cliche. That was something that stuck out to me about it. But
Yeah, I like
what do you
that
guys think?
too. It kind of reminds me, like Isaac, whenever you say that, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Armageddon, like Owen Wilson, Bruce Willis movie
I haven't. Well, I've seen bits and pieces,
from
but
the
not really.
'90s. It's similar in concept where they have like a time constraint. Like there's a massive meteor coming to the Earth, and they gotta save the Earth and like drill a hole in this meteor. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But exactly what Isaac's saying. It's not like the Wall-E type where they're destroying Earth and they got to find somewhere else, or like Home. Home is like the same concept, right?
Yes, that's underrated, man.
I like Home.
Yeah.
But we're diverging. You have anything you want to finish up with, Isaac or Luke, on this point about like how it's kind of anti-trope?
I'm good to move on personally. What
Yeah,
about you?
I think I want to start talking about specifics.
Okay, let's go. We're gonna go straight into kind of more spoiler-esque things. So we just giving you a preface. Jacob's fired up.
Yeah.
What's your guys' favorite scene in the movie and why?
Favorite scene? That's tough. I mean, I love ending scenes if they're done really well. And what comes to mind for me is, well, it's two scenes really. It would be the scene where he's out in space and then the astrophage, like he's able to see them and it's like all red and the visuals were just amazing, especially with the music over top of that. It was just a great moment. And then the ending scene, because it's like he was just kind of in the end he was satisfied where he was at. You know, he wasn't going back to Earth like you expected, and he was just with his friends, and it was just so wholesome. And I think it also touches on, which I'll just go into this, my favorite like aspect of the movie, and that's the relationship between Grace and Rocky. I just that like drew me in, and like the emotions of it got to me, and I just love that part of the movie, and I love the ending when he's teaching the little rocks. It was just wholesome.
Yeah, that's a great shot at the end.
So, anybody
Yeah.
Little
else?
rocks.
My favorite scene, and I guess you could consider this multiple scenes. The scene on Adrian where they do the fishing and they have to collect the samples of the astrophage, right?
Yeah.
And it's really one of the only like heavy action scenes of the film. The more I think about it, but man, it just the anxiety. I was on the edge of my seat for 10 minutes straight. I was worried to death about either of them dying, Grace or Rocky. And I don't know, just the lighting in that scene was amazing as the lights were flickering on the ship on and off. The ship, is obviously spinning in circles, and the cinematography and just the angles and stuff like really caught my eye. I thought it was an amazing scene, and then obviously that leads into like Rocky making the sacrifice, which we're into spoilers now, but like I thought Rocky was gonna die, and I was holding back tears, boys. I'm not gonna lie. I was almost about to cry.
Oh my gosh.
but but anyways, I thought that scene was great. What about you?
Yeah, no. When Rocky was smoking out, I thought he was done for. I was so sad. I
Yeah.
was so distraught. He's got to be my favorite character, Rock. He's
Yeah,
so
Rocky.
good. And also
Yeah, my
another thing
favorite.
about him that I like so much is he was puppeteered. That's what
Yeah,
Jake
that
was
is
telling me
cool.
about. That he was a puppet and some dude was playing him. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have to agree with Luke. My favorite scene was just like Gosling gets knocked out and then the audio. I was saying like that's a great needle drop to Jacob after the movie. He's like, well, it's more like a needle lift, or maybe it was to Isaac because we watched it together. And just the silence. Whenever there's segments of silence in a movie, to me, it just really like zeroes you in, especially in war movies. Like whenever you have the bomb drop and they can't hear, and like those, it's a very similar experience with that. And so, well, just like what Luke, brother, what you were saying, man, they have like all the different lights flickering on and off, and the hearing is in and out, and like he's bleeding, and that was like the first scene where I really felt like there was some genuine anxiety, kind of like what you were talking about too. That scene did a lot of work for me, and I loved it. I thought from a visual side of things, it was awesome. The lack of audio was also awesome. That scene carried a lot of weight for me. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned the audio going out. That I forgot to mention that. That was awesome. And that's probably my favorite shot of the whole movie, where Gosling's face is like, smashed up against the control board and he's just knocked out. I thought it was such a great shot. Um, but yeah, man, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, that's an awesome one. So Isaac was kind of touching base on this a little bit. I wanted to go in with you guys. What was your favorite or best supporting actor in your opinion? It could be subjective either way. It doesn't have to be best, but who stuck out to you? Anyone want to go first?
I can go.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, you okay?
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
You got it. You got
Well,
it.
um, Does like the Rocky voice actor count?
Sure,
Because
that's fine.
I thought he did very well, especially knowing the backstory because he was the original. I think it's like James Ortiz or something like that.
Yes, James
He
Ortiz.
was the original, or he was the puppeteer originally, and they were trying to find the voice, as they were filming, and it was a long filming process. And they just he was riffing with Ryan Gosling one day, and they were like, why don't you just do it? And so James Ortiz ended up being the voice and the puppeteer, which I thought was a really nice touch, and I thought he did very well with his delivery, and I thought it was a great voice performance, and yeah.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Luke.
no, that's what I was gonna say because there's not much of a supporting cast in terms of volume. It's mostly just those two on their ships. And I thought it was a really good job because he's a puppet and a voice actor, and people were so attached to him. I thought that really spoke volumes about the performance.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess if we're counting Rocky, he'd have to be the puppeteer and the voice. He'd have to be my favorite, supporting cast member. I don't know about how you guys felt, but I really enjoyed Sandra Huller. I thought she was good. Um, I loved her character. I loved the twist, at the end. We can get into that later, but like everybody's talking about her karaoke performance. I didn't think it was that great of a scene. I mean, I thought it was solid. Everybody seems to love that scene though. Have y'all noticed that?
I wouldn't say I loved it. I haven't heard anybody talking about it.
I've seen it on Letterboxd everywhere.
I didn't like it that much. I thought it
Yeah.
was fine.
Yeah.
I kind of liked he's getting the uptight chick out of her shell a little bit. I liked what they were doing there. But I didn't think it stood out that much.
It didn't to me either. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really liked her performance. And I mean, Gosling's obviously the most dominant here.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the only character on screen, only human character that we see on screen most of the time. But
Yeah.
Zay, what did you think?
Yeah, we'll get back to the karaoke part. I know that Jacob has got some thoughts, as do I, on that particular scene. But actually, my favorite supporting character, I really liked Rocky. I thought Rocky was good, but I really like Carl.
Carl, the guy in the
I
beginning.
thought Carl was great.
Yeah.
Oh, do you need coupons? No, we're the government. Oh, which government? All the governments.
Yeah,
That
was
was
pretty
so
good.
funny. Like
Yeah,
that's
Carl
something I
was
really
good.
appreciate. That's what I appreciated about Carl is like you could tell he's kind of like a rough guy, but Gosling's character just Grace was able to get in there and just pry out like his inner personality, and they're going on their quest together, like building these boxes and whatever else.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I really like Carl's character because there's that human element. Something about Rocky, like Rocky's great, but Rocky's like purely benevolent. He doesn't have any other side to him. He doesn't have that human nature that is, selfish or whatever else. But I kind of like too at, whenever Gosling's like about to get sedated and he's like, Carl, like, help me. And Carl is just like right there. And it's just like,
You're gonna
not,
do great.
yeah, you're going to do great. Like just sending him off. Like that was kind of a gut punch for me. I had more of a connection with Carl than I did with um, Sandra Huller's character, in my opinion.
Yeah. I thought her character, like I thought I wasn't like sitting there thinking her character was that bad. In the as far as the karaoke performance goes, I mean, it wasn't my favorite thing in the world. I have been seeing a lot of like TikToks though. It's like edits of the movie, and they choose the Sign of the Times Harry Styles song like over it.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like that's like kind of like the theme song for the whole movie in a lot of ways. Which and I've also heard she picked the song to sing. She like picked that one. So and it's kind of hard to sing, but
Well, we'll just jump right into my next segment is like what holds this back from being a 5. You guys are closer than I am to giving it a 5. 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, 4 for me. And in the theater, in the experience that we're going through these flashbacks, we're going to this karaoke scene. And I turned to Jacob. We sat next to each other in the theater and we were both laughing. Like it was bad. Like I just felt like it was such a bad scene. And I guess like I get what they're trying to achieve there, but I just was like, her singing isn't that great. And she mentioned that she was like in a choir or whatever whenever she was a child, which was funny, but like her performance wasn't that great. Just like, what the hell was that scene whenever I watched it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know also you were talking about how like the like setup romance kind of failed for you, which I did some research on it, and apparently the author was saying, and like some of the actors were saying, like there was like not no romance meant to be, like it was just they were supposed to be just like friends, and I mean it was the clarification on that wasn't super clear, so that was a bit confusing, but yeah, you guys have thoughts on that?
Yeah, when I was watching it, I was like, okay, are they trying to set up some romance that didn't get to be because he went to space, or what? But then at the same time, like I was saying, it did kind of just feel like he was trying to get her out of her shell and everything because she was kind of anti-fun. But walking out of the theater, the impression I had was, oh, the romance didn't really land well for me. That was what I was thinking after watching. But I mean, I can see both sides. But yeah, like you said, it just wasn't that clear, and it kind of took away from the experience a bit. What do you think, Lat?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not very clear, you know, like if he did like her or vice versa or whatever. But I did like their dynamic because I think Grace, although he definitely resented her at first for what happened, I think he ended up forgiving her. And I think he always looked up to her because she was what he wasn't. You know, he didn't see himself as brave or the one able to make these tough decisions. And I think he always kind of wanted to be her, or at least that's the way I interpreted it. Um, and eventually, you know, he grows, and by the end of the film, he's diving through space, you know, for these samples, like making you know, these sacrifices. You know what I'm saying? But like, I like the dynamic. I thought it was good, and I think they both learned from each other. And I mean, as far as the romance goes, it's obviously not. It's not a strong one by any means, but yeah.
I, yeah, I kind of felt led astray with it a little bit. Um, there's that scene where Rocky is talking with Grace about like, does he have a mate? And he's like, oh, yeah, but she's with Mark now. Like, Rocky hate Mark. Like, it was kind of a funny scene, but like, I didn't buy into it. Like, I felt like the runtime was a little long for me, but I don't think it would feel so long if the love aspect, this love interest was fleshed out better. Like I just felt like it would have carried so much more gravity for me if there was some sort of gesture of something beyond like this little maybe fondness, like what you're saying. Look, I mean that's a good theory. Like that's what he wanted to be, but couldn't be because he's kind of insecure and quirky and whatever else. But I would have liked some sort of scene where like a hand holding scene, or he's trying to like make a move or ask her out, something. But to me, she's just such a cut and dry character, and I think that's what she's supposed to be.
Yeah,
But
she is.
that to me is just a little left out. And from the people that have read the book, I've just seen like universally that the time spent on other characters in the actual novel is a lot like more fleshed out than in the movie. And I think that the flashbacks could have been better prioritized to build a little bit more of a caring for her character because she just doesn't get very much personality. She doesn't get very much other angling. Like we get to fall in love basically with the character of Rocky because we spend so much time with him. We even spend quite a bit of time with Carl too in the beginning of the movie, but we don't really get to see another side of Sandra Huller's character.
Yeah, no, I was kind of getting semblances of F1 with the flashbacks and everything. The initial flashbacks were pretty good, and somewhere along the way, they started feeling not stale really, but it kind of seemed like a little drop off in quality somewhere around there every time they would do a flashback scene. Like, okay, this isn't as good of a product as we were getting with the rest of the stuff. And I feel like you were saying, a little more prioritization on those aspects might have helped give it that extra boost that it needed.
Yeah, I've heard some people online, like who read the book, talking about, Zay, like what you mentioned, exactly what you were talking about, how there's much more time spent on like the other two crew members who ended up, passing away while on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really sad scene when Gosling had to send them out and had like the little funeral and stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I teared up, but but
No.
every time Gosling teared up, I did. I'm not even joking. Anyways, if they would have spent more time on flashbacks with like Gosling's relationship with the other crew members, it would have hit so much harder, knowing that they're gone now. But they were kind of reduced to almost cameos, and I don't want to put too much fault on Miller and Lord for this, but I mean, I'm sure the book. How long do you think the book is? A good 15 hours, 20
Yeah,
hours maybe.
Yeah, probably around
yeah,
something like that.
my good friend Colin, hope he's listening, and I would love to actually have him on the podcast sometime, maybe later in the year after he finishes the book. He was reading the book, the movie came out, and so he's halfway through the book whenever he watched the movie. But he said it's around like 450 to 500 pages, and he's like, it's impossible to fit everything into like 120, 130 page script. It's just like the detail
Yeah,
and what you can go into in a novel is incomparable to what you can achieve, on the big screen.
yeah. And apparently there's a 4-hour cut of this film. I think that was the
Oh yeah.
original cut was 4 hours long. So I'd like to see that. I'm sure it's able to, flesh these things out a lot better. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
It's just the choices that you have to make whenever you're doing adaptations. That's why most book lovers can't stand, movie adaptations, is because they get stuff wrong. They have to make cuts. They have to do this. They have to do that. It's hard to be honest, if maybe for readers they feel like Project Hail Mary could have been split into maybe 2 or 3 different films because it's so long. I don't know. I mean, yeah, 2 or 3 films because the book is so long, but I don't know. I haven't seen it, or I haven't read it. Excuse me. So
Yeah,
I want to
I
ask.
haven't. Oh, what?
Go
You
ahead,
can go.
Isaac. Go.
I was just saying I haven't read it either, but like Luke and I were talking about in the car a bit ago, with adaptations in a book, you can kind of get their inner thoughts and everything, which can really add to explaining
Mhm.
different emotions and actions and everything. And it's really tough to have that in a movie. You need a visual representation because hearing them narrate, that gets kind of cheesy. You don't want that, but it can get a little iffy with adaptations. We've seen or I've seen stuff like this happen before, where I've read a book and then watched the movie and kind of seen these inconsistencies just because the mediums don't allow for it.
It
Yeah,
can happen though. I mean, we've saw obviously with Fight Club. That is narration that's done so well, and the
And it's based
narration.
off a book too.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. Thanks
That
for
is
cutting me
true.
off.
That is true.
You're
Edward
fine, man.
Norton.
And
Oh, stole
it's
his thunder.
yeah, it's all good, Westbrook. But anyway, yeah, I just felt like there are ways that it can be done, and that was another thing that was kind of brought up too whenever I was doing research on the book, is that the soliloquies and stuff like that aren't really the same. Like whenever Gosling is thinking out these things, he has to verbalize them. Putting this together. Oh, I need to put this together. I need to put that together. And it's just hard to achieve if you're not going to go into narration. You have to somehow fit it in with dialogue.
And I guess some of the narration too was him like making those recordings back to Earth,
Right.
kind of like explaining like how it was with Rocky and everything. So that kind of took the place of it a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's a creative approach for sure.
yeah. Apparently, like Carl wasn't even a character in the book, and people are saying he had to be in the movie to kind of be like somebody that would bring out Gosling's inner thoughts to the audience, right? So that
Yep.
like the science was done in conversation with Carl, and that makes a lot of sense. And like Isaiah, what you were saying, like I was cringing a little bit during the scene where he's like, left is right, up is down, like I don't know where to go from here, and he's like the lefty loosey thing.
Mhm.
It's kind of hard to pull that off, just like when you're speaking to the audience in that way, I tend to cringe. It's just not really like the dialogue doesn't feel natural. You know what I mean? But it's hard to pull off. I don't know. And that was one of the things that held me back from a 5. I felt like some of the dialogue didn't feel as grounded as it should. But overall, it was solid, I guess.
Well, something I did like, a way that they did that was it showed him writing on his whiteboard or whatever when he first woke up, and all of his thoughts and the questions he had that he was trying to find answers to. He'd write it down on the whiteboard with the dry erase marker, and I liked that because I was like, that's a good way of saying what he's thinking without a cheesy, left is right, righty loosey, whatever that scene was. I noticed that too.
Righty Lucy.
Well, it was reversed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Righty Lucy, man.
Yeah, that was a creative way of doing it. Something around that same time, in the beginning of the movie, I was outside the theater, kind of talking with the guys. I don't know if you guys caught this, or Luke, maybe you caught this as well. But something that threw me off is towards the beginning of the movie, before he encounters Rocky, there's like he finds out that the engines are on low fuel, and so then he's running out of fuel. He's about to run into Rocky, and like the gravity machine or whatever stops working in the spaceship, so he starts to float. You guys remember there's like Earth-like gravity.
Yeah.
So there's low fuel, but this is something that doesn't really add up to me. Is then he discovers Rocky, blah 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 blah, and they go visit the planet Adrian. But still, he hasn't gotten any fuel. He doesn't get fuel again until he comes back to Rocky's spaceship after visiting Adrian, where he's got astrophage there to complete the mission to send the pods over to Earth. I don't understand how he was on low fuel and was able to get to Adrian and back on that low fuel, because we're not given, as far as I can recollect, any other scene where he gets more fuel.
Well, I looked at, when you said this, I looked this up, and basically what I got was that he had enough. I guess he had enough to get there and back, but then also maybe we know Rocky had some astrophage with his fuel, so maybe he borrowed some of Rocky's fuel,
but it's not on screen,
right? Mm-hmm. But I mean, I'm sure the book probably has a more detailed explanation. I have no clue.
Did you guys catch that?
No, I didn't catch that. Yeah, I must have missed that. Did you catch that?
No, I didn't either. There was, I remember you saying that. But before they sent him, they said we don't have time to breed enough fuel, for you to go there and back. And it was a one-way mission, and that's why he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to go on the suicide mission. So I don't know when he got the extra fuel. Did you read anything else when you looked it up, Bob?
No, I just read that. I guess you can understand that he had enough to get there, and then maybe Rocky resupplied him. But I didn't get a straight there wasn't an exact answer for this.
It sounds like they're trying. It's almost apologetic in a sense that it's trying to imply it, but to me, it wasn't explicit on the screen, and I was just like, "Oh, they're going to run out of fuel at some point," but it doesn't happen. He's ran into this complex of either I have enough fuel to get back to Rocky so he can recolonize, or try to get back to Earth, and he obviously chooses not to go back to Earth.
I loved that choice. That was one of my favorite parts about the movie. Sorry to kind of detour.
No, that was.
I'm just saying, I loved how he chose Rocky.
Yeah, no, that was cool. But I did feel like that was a bit of a plot hole that at least wasn't explained on screen.
Okay, yeah, I didn't catch it. Something I wanted to ask you about, all you guys. I don't know if you guys caught this. I might be just completely missing the point here, but you guys know the spear that has the screen on it that he goes into to put the different visuals on screen.
Yeah.
So earlier in the movie, remember he's on the beach and he's sitting down, he's got the beach screen up, and he looks over and he sees a figure walking towards him, and then the water hits his feet and he kind of wakes up.
Yes.
You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was him in the future, right? On Rocky's planet. Cause at the end of the movie, him and Rocky are walking down the beach line, and he's wearing the
Yep.
same thing as the figure that he saw earlier,
I hadn't
walking
thought
towards
about
him. Did
that.
you guys catch that?
I hadn't
That's a
thought
really
about
good
that.
I
catch.
didn't catch that. Like
And
I thought he
so,
was just like dreaming of being back on Earth.
well, I'm about 95% on this. I'm gonna have to fact check, but I'm pretty sure that was him, and that opens up some weird dynamics with like time warping and stuff. I don't know. I'll have to search that up, but I thought that was a really cool little detail they added in
I
there.
did notice that the water did break like the third wall
Yeah,
or
it did.
whatever, and then it was physically going up on his feet. I didn't notice the figure that was walking towards him, but that's like Jacob was saying. I thought it was dreamlike. But
Yeah,
that's a great point. I didn't realize until now that you mention it that that was actually Rocky's planet down the road.
yeah.
That is
I
so
thought that was
interesting.
pretty wild.
Something that I felt like was lacking a little bit from the film, compared to like a lot of other space movies, is that I felt like there was kind of and I don't know if you guys caught this as well, but I kind of felt like there was a void of like panic. Like in the beginning of the film, he wakes up, he doesn't know where he's at. How do I understand what this is? Blah 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 blah. And he's like drinking the vodka and all that sort of stuff, and his hair's all grown out, and he looks like a madman. We get some of that distress, but like he doesn't experience that at all again for the rest of the movie. Isn't that kind of like strange? You
Well,
know,
they kind of had where he was like, I know I'm gonna die and I'm okay with it, and then Rocky is like, hey, I'll like sacrifice myself for you. Oh, he gave him fuel there, didn't he? He's like, I'll give you my fuel so you can make it back home. And then he starts
yes,
crying, and he's like, I thought you were at peace with it. I'm never at peace with it, and he was just like
yeah.
suppressing it,
Yeah.
turning into Drive Ryan Gosling, the stoic.
But it's important to remember again, though. Too gave him fuel after they had already visited Planet Adrian and gone fishing. This was after.
Oh, was it after?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was before. Like right before they were about to go fishing.
Luke, what do you
I'm not for
remember?
sure about this plot hole thing. I must have completely missed it.
See,
But
I didn't notice it. I don't know if that is a an indicator that you're wrong or that we were just all wrong. I don't actually know.
Well,
but I didn't notice anything about it.
to go along with what Isaiah is saying about the void of panic, I also felt a bit of a void, like kind of like with anxiety. Like I feel like until we get that Adrian scene, there isn't really anything that's very intense. Or
Hmm.
there's not much as anxiety as there could have been, I feel like, and I think that's why that scene stuck out so much to all of us, is because it all hits at once. So I kind of felt a void in the first couple acts where obviously it was focusing on the friendship with Rocky, but I kind of wish it would have focused more on like existential terror, a little bit more. But that's just me.
No, I completely agree with you. I kind of felt like that was void. Like he's become great friends with Rocky, which is totally fine, but like there's no point in the movie that Gosling like suspects that he could possibly get taken advantage of, or like Rocky. Does Rocky have like a secret agenda? There's not even really any scene too where he's like upset at Sandra Holler for sending him out. But it's just so strange too, because like earlier in the movie, whenever we get the flashback, whenever Sandra Holler is explaining to Grace like why they're going to send him, he's like, "Well, you have no immediate family. Like you lost your job, your middle school, teacher. Don't make this about your students." Like there's a lot of depravity there that isn't explored at all. Like he's mentioned that he lost his job because he had an unpopular opinion early in the movie, and then he doesn't have any immediate family. He doesn't have like a girlfriend. He doesn't have a wife. He doesn't have a pet. He doesn't have any of that. Like on the outside looking in, he's kind of got like a loser life, but it's not spelled out any further in the movie, which was I just felt like it was missing maybe a little bit more backstory or maybe a little bit more anxiety.
Well, personally, I didn't feel that. I felt like the anxiety was there, especially when Rocky's ship like was coming towards him, and he was like genuinely scared, like how like anyone would be if like an alien ship was like coming towards you, like. And I definitely felt that like when Rocky was sending like the message over, he thought it was going to be a bomb, like he thought he was going to die. Like I felt that definitely, and I didn't like relate to it, but like I was like, yeah, I wonder like what I would have done in that situation. Like that's pretty crazy. And then also there was multiple points in the movie where like you said, Ryan Gosling, he was tearing up, and like you could tell like he was going through it, and or at least I felt that. So yeah, I didn't get that, I didn't feel that void like you guys did, really, but yeah, so yeah, that's.
Well, the emotional punches were hitting for me, like you mentioned Ryan Gosling going through it. That worked pretty well for me. I guess one thing that kind of hurt my experience is I did watch the first trailer, and I wish I wouldn't have. So I knew, Rocky was going to be wasn't going to be a threat. Like it shows the thumbs down in the trailer, and I kind of knew the premise of it, and I wish I wouldn't have known. I feel like the spaceship scene would have been a lot scarier if I didn't know what was going to happen. So, and that goes into a conversation of like our modern trailers showing way too much,
Yes,
and they
yes, they
definitely are. Most
No
of them.
evil.
Yeah, no, I've got a few friends who refuse to watch trailers because they don't want any spoilers, and I don't blame them at all. Like that right there. I'm glad I hadn't seen a trailer for this. I was going in pretty blind.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about Rocky. Unfortunately, I saw the poster on Letterboxd, and I saw his outline, so I knew something was up with some weirdly shaped creature, but
Yeah.
I knew very little going in.
I knew very little going into. That's how I preferred to go with it. But I had seen like a letterbox review of one of my friends saying that the humor is Marvel like, and I was a little like, oh no, like we're about to go through a Marvel experience. And you could see where Rocky is very close to being like, I put in my letterbox review Groot like, broken English, just like a very sweet, benevolent character sort of thing. But hey, I felt like they made it work with Rocky, but
Yeah.
there were definitely, like I said, the plot hole dilemma. I'd have to rewatch it to confirm. Again, there's just so much happening in your first watch to confirm that. But then, Sandra Huller, I wasn't super connected to her character, the love dynamic. This is just me like regurgitating kind of what held me back. And then I felt like the flashbacks weren't always the most useful, for its runtime. I don't like to complain about runtime unless I feel like it could have been optimized more. Interstellar's got an insanely long runtime, but
Is
I
it
felt like
longer?
it's longer. It's like 3 hours. But Interstellar is, I feel like every shot just really matters. And so that's why, again, there's a little separation there for me, even though I still really enjoy the film.
Yeah. What did y'all think the funniest scene was?
I actually
funniest.
didn't laugh like a whole lot in the movie. Me and Jacob were sitting next to like these middle-aged couples that were dying
Yeah,
laughing.
they were.
Remember those scenes where like Gosling's going out to try and collect whatever was being thrown at him, and it's silent and he like falls down? Like the people are just dying laughing to our sides. I actually probably laughed the most at the karaoke scene. But it wasn't supposed to be funny. But I really
What
enjoyed.
about the neither? That.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
you thought that was funny.
I did think that was funny. I also just like the little quips that Rocky had, like amaze, amaze, amaze. Like those little things were really fun. And
Yeah.
fist bump bumps.
Statement, question.
Yeah, statement, question. Like
Yeah.
I enjoyed those little quips.
Yeah,
The most.
I'd say for me too that like I don't know if I can point to one scene, but like I also love like the montages of like them in that room, like and he's just teaching them about stuff and everything, and like also the scene where like they're giving gifts to each other, and he's like, well, if since I didn't give you a gift, what would you want? Rocky said that, and Grace was like, how about I see your ship? And it transitions to that. I love that. I was like, yeah, these two are the best.
Yeah. I thought it was really funny when Rocky first moved in, how annoyed Grace was, and
Dirty.
he's filming the vlog, and Rocky can hear him like whispering, and he's getting
Yeah.
so pissed. I thought that was hilarious. I was laughing pretty hard at that. And then like I forgot what I was gonna say. Fist My Bump was great.
Oh
I
yeah.
love Fist My Bump. What about you, Isaac?
I remember laughing a few times. I'm blanking on what exactly, but I remember liking the humor quite a bit, even if it wasn't like I was laughing out loud a whole lot. It's kind of like you appreciate it and like give it a little smirk and just keep watching. Um, I have no idea why, but one of my favorite things was when Rocky's ship shows up and it's following him,
Yeah, that was
and then
fun.
it's got the arm that starts throwing the thing. I don't know why I thought the arm was so funny.
Yeah,
So stupid.
that was hilarious.
But at the same time, I was also kind of freaking out for Grace. I was like, I mean, can you imagine you're in space and you're just floating around, and then whatever this is shows up and it's following him. I was really feeling it, but then I just started laughing at it at the same time. I thought it was a pretty fun scene.
Yeah.
It was. It was. You guys have anything else you want to close on? You want to talk any more about the ending? You know, what's your guys' predictions for awards, you know, maybe or at the end of the year, so those sorts of things.
Well, I do want to talk about how just briefly about like going in, which we're all on Letterbox, you know, we're like big Letterbox guys. But anyway, going in, I saw it had like such a huge like rating average, like 4.4. I was like, this is crazy. Like, I wonder if this will drop. I was like, interesting to see if it lives up to it, and it definitely like it did for me. Like I was very. It met my expectations, like because I had high ones for it based off of that, and some reviews I've seen that were non-spoiler. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that for a second. But
It's the Marty Supreme effect.
yeah,
Like Marty Supreme was insane. I think it was like 4.5, 4.4,
it went down
4.3.
since then.
Yeah, but me and Luke were talking about this, just about how the overall rave for that movie was just like crazy, and it wasn't showing in their local theater, and so we were trying to figure out, hey, where should we watch this? And it delivered. It was great. Marty Supreme was, and I feel the same way with Project Hail Mary. I mean, I ultimately gave it a 4. I considered it a 4.5, but I feel like my expectations were met. I thought it was pretty solid.
Yeah, and another thing, actually, real quick, I want to say is that I saw that Project Hail Mary was like the biggest opening. I think it might be ever the biggest opening at the box office for a film that's non-franchise.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or
That's
maybe it
awesome.
might be like recently, but it was something along those lines. So I was like, that's pretty neat. Like that we're getting these kind of original films or like one-offs, basically, and
Yeah.
they're doing well. So.
I think it made like 80 million opening weekend domestically or something like that.
Something like
I can't
that.
remember what the budget was though, but I don't think the budget was that crazy.
It's doing really well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it deserves it, you know. Kind of like what Jacob was talking about. I don't know if it lived up to the 4.4 for me. You know, I much prefer Marty Supreme. Obviously, they're two totally different movies, but I still enjoyed this movie a lot. I had a good time with it.
I want to talk about the ending a little bit. I was really I was really digging the ending. Walking out of the theater, I was like, that was such a like it satisfies the crowd. I felt like it was believable that neither of them died. I didn't feel like one of them should have died, like the Baby Driver effect. Uh, but also you're just so happy for Ryan Gosling because he's got the option of going back if he wants to, but he's happy here. And they're like, hey, they're ready to send you back whenever you're ready. And he's like, you know, can I have some more time? Because he's loving it so much here. And he's teaching the little colorful rocks, the pet rocks. I really liked it.
Do you guys think he's going to go back home?
I don't know, man. The director or the author said he's thinking about writing a sequel for it, so that means probably another movie too.
Oh, that would totally mean another movie.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I think that Project Hail Mary was published in 2016 or 2017, so it had almost 10 years of shelf life before.
I thought it was 2021.
Before it
was it?
Was it really?
I thought so.
Maybe I'm an idiot.
I could be wrong.
Speaking of, I just bought a book a couple days ago from Half Price Books called The Idiot. It was just so funny. I wanted to buy it. It's a huge, like, Russian book. It's like, man, I'm gonna buy it. It's $6. The Idiot. It's written in
Say, we're so sorry. Your audio is barely. I don't know what happened.
Dude,
to
I
it.
think your mic died.
Is that it?
We're so
Did
sorry.
mine die? Did both of ours?
No, we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you
that's
go.
good.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Brother.
Dude, it's perfectly fine. I was wondering what was so funny. We can edit that if we need to, but we may keep it in. But anyway, are you guys good to close? Any other lasting thoughts?
Do we have any upcoming, ideas for what you guys are planning on watching next?
Yeah, I want to. What?
I've got
What?
upcoming movies.
Just that you're planning on watching that maybe you have an idea for a podcast or something.
Well, we can talk about that a little bit more. We want to hear from you guys, though. Email us at decoderscontent@gmail.com. What is so funny?
He just cut me off. Luke was going to say something.
No, I don't think I was going to say anything.
Oh,
Was I?
I was just saying, email us at decoderscontent.com. I'm not going to spell that out for you because I think I'm an idiot. But also, we will have it attached in our links in the descriptions, whether you're watching this on YouTube or listening to us on Spotify.
Yeah.
We need to get off this damn podcast. What is so funny?
I'm just laughing at Isaac at this point.
I was laughing at
I was
Jake.
laughing at him.
But yeah, send us recommendations, guys. Like Zay said. I think my next watch is Blue Valentine.
Oh, that's a brutal one.
I haven't seen it.
What did you do? I want to watch some more Goslings.
We're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. I think my next theater watch will probably be The Drama.
That comes out this Friday, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Are we gonna watch that?
I would be up for it. The Drama is one that I want to watch at theaters, and so is Mother Mary, which is A24. Anne Hathaway, she plays a pop star. It's a psychological thriller. That one's coming out in a little while.
Is The Drama A24 as well?
It is.
Okay, I'd like to watch that. So maybe we'll cover that. Who knows?
Surrounding it.
Really?
Yeah.
I think our mics are dying.
Yeah.
All right, let's get off here. Thank you guys for listening, and yeah, see y'all.